Thelindis? You're back early?
Our equipment's being serviced today, so I got off earlier than usual. Aw, why the long face? Is something the matter?
Went for a drink with Dane and the others after work.
Isn't that a good thing?
Vedifilnir showed up today, too. You know,
Ah, Mr. Vedifilnir. Yes, I've heard of him. They say that everything he says...
He overheard Dainsleif mention that I'd recently proposed, and seemed to have an issue with it. But when I asked what it was, he kept it to...
So, you're worried? You could be such... We're nobodies. Why would the visionary be concerned about it? I'm sure someone in his position has much bigger fish to fry.
Maybe you're right.
You worry too much, Rerir. We've been together for ages now, and everything's been going so well, has it not?
So, you do remember.
Like I said, I need some time to decide. You can't just rush into things like this. We may be nobodies in the grand scheme of things, but if we want...
All right. Take your time. Just don't keep me waiting for... Nobodies. Sounds about right. In the eyes of people, can someone whose gaze is so fixed on a far-flung future even see the present clearly? Besides, meanwhile, every idea they come up with and every decision they make, it affects everything. The opposition tried to speak out, but nothing came of it. And I'm under no... A man can have 1,000 reasons to carry a sword, but there are few good excuses to use it. Yet the king has never even considered what becomes of someone who kills on another's behalf. Thelindis, It's nothing. You were right. Fate, there's no reason we can't keep living happily together, cherishing the simple joys of each day as they come.
See? You just need to stay positive, Rerir. I can feel your warmth, your breath. You're right there, right by my side. Just seeing you makes me happy in a way I can't explain. And that's something that no one could ever take away from me. So smile, my love.
You're right, Thelindis. I've just been overthinking things.
That's better. Getting caught up about things like this will only ruin our evening.
You go ahead. I just have a few things to take care of, then I'll...
Even busier than the big shots, huh? Fine, I'll go get started. But don't be late. If you keep me waiting too long, I won't be...
Relax. Seriously, though, you drive a hard bargain. You're really gonna leave my proposal hanging and still
Well, that goes without saying. I already told everyone I'd be coming with a damn... Besides, they're two completely different things. Let's take it one thing at a time, all right?
All right. White outfit it is.
It seems like Rerir was deliberately hiding his ties to the intelligence services. By giving the impression that he was just an ordinary... He clearly doesn't want his would-be fiancé to know about his other life. Then again, that's hardly surprising. Who'd have thought we were in the same line of work? Let's dig a little deeper.
Our last operation was a resounding success, and all thanks to you, Reir of Solnari. In total, we apprehended 32 dregs of the Crimson.
After all these years since the dynasty's fall, so many...
Indeed, it cannot be denied. Yet it was destiny that the Crimson Moon should be overcome by the eclipse. Khaenri'ah has no further need for a dead moon. But alas, there will always be those...
That's not entirely true. Much about the Crimson Moon era was worthy of remembrance. And that's exactly why they keep trying. Many of its secrets remain unsolved to this day. As it happens, that's precisely...
You still haven't told her what you really do for a...
Where would I even start? How do you tell someone that you're one of the king's hand-picked executioners? That your hands are...
You didn't choose this life, any more than I did. Orphans like us.
But I'll sure as heck be the one to pay for it. Speaking of which, we need to be more rigorous in the way we identify. Someone, it seems, has strong opinions about my future plans.
Your concerns are not unfounded. They've taken out many of our colleagues these past few years, and for that very... Take care, Rehir of Solnari. I look forward to...
Thanks, Thorkel. Thelindis, I never wanted to keep this from you. You're the last person I would ever want to lie, but that's exactly why I can't tell you everything. There are things the Moonlit dynasties are a thing of the past. Yet even now, with the sun shining high in the sky, there are those who would call forth a dead moon's ghost. Could that be why Vedalfnir held back? Or was it because of some court secret? I have to get a clear answer from him. No matter what happens.
Rerir seems to be very concerned by Vedalfnir's reaction. Vedalfnir and Dainsleif, the Visionary and Twilight Sword. I've investigated this whole area now. There doesn't seem to be any other memories here. Should I try somewhere else? Wait a second. What's this black?
So, he's late after all. Just you wait, Rerir.
Are you waiting for someone, ma'am? Could I tempt you into buying some flowers?
Oh, sure. Pick me out a...
Thank you. But I'm afraid none of them are as pretty.
For someone so young, you sure...
I'm only telling the truth. Look me in the eyes. You'll see I'm... May we have a word in private?
Who are you? And what do you want?
It doesn't matter who I am. Too many of our kind have fallen lately, so I decided to take the risk of reaching out. Not long ago, the Rehir of Solnari led an assault on one of our strongholds. We suffered many...
Sorry, I don't know why you're telling me this. And I don't want to get...
Wait, hear me out. This time we finally got a clear look at his face and learned his true identity. His name is Rerir, and he claims to be one of the King's guards.
What did you say?
A cruel irony, isn't it? The man you're set to marry leads a double life as a brutal executioner.
Why are you telling me?
Simple. It's because...
How strange. Rerir was nowhere to be seen in that memory. It clearly belonged to... Rerir couldn't possibly know what happened if he wasn't even there. Why would her memories appear in his fragment? The ceremony won't last much longer. I think it's time to call it a day.
So that was your doing? Did you just pull us inside Rerir?
Any more questions, and I'll have to start
I had no idea you could do that, boss! I gotta admit, though, I'm itching to see what happens next. Feels like
I'm just as curious as you are. But the ceremony only allows for limited time, and luckily we managed to learn quite a lot.
So far, so good. I just hope the others are doing okay too, especially the group with the Traveler. Their mission is a risk.
If you're worried about them, go see how they're doing.
If I know boss, she's gonna need some time to write up all the details and make sure it's all coherent.
Oh, they've been prowling around for nearly 2 days now. These things just won't quit. Oh, they might not have seen us yet, but them constantly sweeping the area, our way out is completely blocked. Oh, that's never gonna work. One little slip up and it's game over. If they spot us, they'll run straight back to Rerir, and once he knows we're here, it won't be long before he's breathing down our necks again. Oh, guess you're right. All right, time to zip it. fire. Fire? Wait, what's that smell? Oh no! There's a fire!
Sandrone was right. You look weak, Columbina. The old you would never have let such lowly creatures bar your way. Word has it that you did something for the Tsaritsa, and that's why you've lost most of your power. Freedom comes at a heavy price, doesn't it?
It's Arlecchino! You came!
Hello again, Columbina. And greetings, guests of the House of the Hearth.
It's been a while, Arlecchino. Stupid right here of stupid Solnari. Ugh, whatever! I've got all the data I need. Next. He sure doesn't pull his punches.
Excuse me, do you need a hand?
You can do me a favor by staying out of my way. Can't you see I'm busy? Wait a minute. I recognize that voice.
Hello, Miss Sandrone. Father sent us over to help.
How considerate of her. Hey, Fremine, get over here and help me fix this. Lenny, you do your thing. Just keep your sister away from my machines. Nearly every machine that Catgirl touches ends up going haywire. Go put her on cleaning duty or something.
Then let's start downstairs. Fremine, we'll leave this place to you. You've got it.
Wait a second. Pretty sure there's still some tea in the cupboard. If you want some, you'll have to make it yourselves.
It's a relief to see you all made it back in one piece.
Feels like there's quite a few people missing. Where's Flint's and the others?
I returned ahead of them. Flint is helping Aino and Anefa to set up the decoys.
Boss is still wrapping things up on her end. She sent us back to fill you all in on the...
I see. Then let's get right into it. But first, who do we have here? You brought someone else in to help?
Greetings. I was invited here to help as a longtime tea party companion of Columbina's. You may call me Arlecchino.
Surely it can't be.
Those eyes. Oh, where have I seen them before? Wait, of course. In the...
The only Arlecchino I know is the fourth of the Fatui Harbingers. So either you share a pretty uncommon name, or you're...
You are well informed, Grandmaster. A man from Mondstadt living all the way out here in Krai, and yet the people and affairs of Snezhnaya seem...
Oh, the feeling's mutual. Sounds like you know all about who I am.
A Fatui Harbinger.
The atmosphere in here just got really tense. Guess we can't just start trusting Fatui Harbingers, even at a time like this.
I must admit, though, I'm a little curious. Seeing as the moon goddess no longer belongs to the Fatui.
Nor does Krai belong to Mondstadt, Mr. Varka. Yet still, things don't always have to have a tangible payoff. Sometimes, stopping things from spiraling out of control is a higher priority than chasing. Of course, I can't say there's nothing in it for me at all. But that's between Columbina and myself.
Forgive me. I don't mean to doubt you. It's just that the Fatui really have been... We have our own way of doing things here in Krai. But ever since they arrived, the Fatui have
I know there's been a lot of bad blood between us in the past. I've done my utmost to avoid friction whenever I could. But sometimes fundamental conflicts of interest simply can't. That's why I'm here solely in a personal capacity. This has nothing as a gesture of good faith. I'll be frank. I can help Columbina track down the iridescent moon's marrow, which will help her restore. Anyway, what else is on the agenda? Let's begin.
She says she'll be frank, then completely skips over the details. Looks like she doesn't want to give away too many secrets, but she clearly wants to change the subject. It'd be awkward if I tried to bring it up again now. I guess we'll just have to go along with it. She's the fourth of the Fatui.
Well, since Miss Arlecchino sounds confident in her ability to handle that, we'll proceed to the next topic.
Alright, listen up everyone. First, we now know that Rerir was originally a Conrian secret agent whose primary mission was to...
The dregs of the Crimson Moon?
In the memories, there was a lot of talk about the Crimson Moon and Eclipse, and a whole bunch of other stuff from the time of Conria.
To my knowledge, those were the names of two different Conrian dynasties. Long, long ago, it is said that the people of Conria worshipped the Crimson Moon, drawing a mysterious power from its But one day, a coup saw the Crimson Moon eclipsed. Hence the...
Still, long after the Crimson Moon dynasty had fallen, the last ruler of the Eclipse dynasty, in those days, Rerir showed no signs of madness. In fact, what's the matter?
Verfene, Freundade, Flinders.
Interesting. Anything else? What about this would-be fiancé of his?
Well, she was a researcher at the Universitas Magistrorum, but...
Oh, and one more thing. For some reason, Rerir's fragment also contained some of Thelindis' memories.
Well, no shortage of potential leads, I'll give you that. In any case, it sounds like we can conclude that while Thelindis was still around, Thelindis, it seems, must have been the one thing in this world that he couldn't let go of. Tell me, though, were these pure-blood...
Why do you need to know that? Hold on. If she was a pure-blood Conry, oh yeah. Just like how it was with the captain.
if we could somehow find her, do you think there's any chance Rerir might regain...
It's possible, but it would take a miracle. We can't... That merchant who Nefer knows, Dori Sangama Bay. Maybe we could hire her to look into it.
All right, then. Let's keep working in our separate teams. Traveler, Paimon, Kutar, and Miss Arlecchino will go look for the iridescent moon's marrow. As for the others...
On the way over here, I noticed that the wild hunt monsters had grown even more frenzied in their search for Kuta. At this rate, the people living here will be in grave danger too. So I'm thinking of gathering together.
I'll head back to the curatorium and meet up with the boss.
Feels good knowing we've all got something to be getting on with. Given that the Wild Hunt has been a lot more active lately, the Lightkeepers have likely begun their own operations too. I'll hold the fort for now, then discuss our next move with Flints, Aino, and Anefa when they get back.
All right then.
Well, the clock's ticking. If that's everything, we'll be...
We'd better get moving too. We'll try to buy you as much time as we can.
Relax. Just do your thing. I decided to call in some backup since things are getting so hairy. Stay safe, everyone. Dismissed.
We're back. Did we get...
A tad late. The others have already set off. To summarize, our resident moon goddess has found us a new app. Everything going smoothly on your end?
Not great. I don't know how long we can stall them for. The decoys are getting taken out way faster than we... I'm gonna make some more later, but I need a timeout first. I'm so tired right... Oh, right! Inefa, could you fill in Uncle Varka on what...
Sure. Uncle Varka, you previously told us about how when you went to investigate a source of the Wild Hunt in Amsvartnir, but according to Flintz's intel, several outbreaks of the Wild Hunt had already occurred in Krai in the period leading up to that. That was before Rerir had regained his body, when he was far from regaining his full strength. In other words, in theory at least, he still lacked...
Flintz, with everything that's been happening, the Lightkeepers across Krai are rallying to fight back against... I know, I'm sure you're capable of coming up with something far more effective than decoys. And Efa and I will head back over to Amsvartnir to see if there's anything I missed.
I told you Uncle Varka would say that, didn't I?
Database updated. Reliability of Aino's predictions increased.
What does that mean?
They were betting on how you'd respond after hearing their intel.
It's the obvious choice, isn't it? That's hardly worth betting on.
We already decided that Inefa should go investigate the situation over at Amsvartnir on her own. Someone needs to hang back and oversee our strategy meetings. And besides, you still...
So I've ended up with the easiest assignment. Well, I appreciate it, everyone.
Here, this will serve as a good spot to cross over.
Arlecchino, hold up a second! Since you brought us all this way, would you mind? We still haven't got the slightest idea what's going on here. And if even...
Simple. Because I am an inheritor of the royal bloodline of the Crimson Moon.
Huh? Are you serious? As in, you're a descendant of that Crimson Moon dynasty?
Your surprise is understandable. I was also taken aback when I first learned of it, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized the signs had been there. When I was young, I discovered I could wield a very special kind of fire. It coursed like blood. What's more, whenever I... Exactly. That is why my hands are like this, too. At first, together with my own investigations over the past few years, for instance, take the so-called Crimson Moon. In truth, it is nothing more than the Since this blood flame was bestowed upon me by the Crimson Moon, it is a fusion of the You all understand the nature of the Abyss well enough. I draw upon its power, and in return, it hungers for my soul.
If I recall correctly, you once told me that if the corruption ever made it to your heart,
Yes. And that's the reason I'm always careful not to push my power too far.
Oh, sounds intense.
Anyway, the rest of my story can wait. Is there anything else about the Crimson Moon?
Paimon has a question. So, the Crimson Moon that the Karians used to work, does that mean that the Karians were to the Crimson Moon as the Frost Moon Scions are to the Frost Moon?
So much of that history has been lost. We have no way of knowing exactly what they were like, but I would suspect that the Conrians weren't as devout in their moon worship as it might appear. Later on, perhaps someone discovered a way to make direct contact with the Abyss. Still, even with the dark sun looming high overhead, the Crimson...
The first time we met, I sensed something familiar in your presence. When I looked at you, I felt I could see that mysterious red moon in the corner.
Well, I appreciate that you kept it to yourself. Much about the Crimson Moon is still a mystery, and I'd Anyway, time is against us here, so if there's any other questions, they'll have to wait. I just want to make sure I've got one thing straight. In her letters, Sandrone mentioned that since you are unable...
That's right. For now, the iridescent moon is already part of who you are.
Deal. Then let's get started.
Get what started? What does this place have to do with the Crimson Moon?
When I first became a Harbinger, the Jester gave me a book called Perrin Harry. also known as Leobranto Inamorato. You should be able to buy a copy next time you're in Fontaine. It's a love story set in the Crimson Moon era. But setting aside in the Crimson Moon era, or so the story goes, there was an orphanage that received children from beyond the bounds of this world, and subjected them.
Beyond the bounds of this world? For real? And
the Crimson Moon sages looked beyond this world for beings with powers that surpassed the gods. But fearing they might lose control, they subjected these children to They made these children crawl up a fireplace and kept asking them, "Have you died? Did you see it?" Until they finally admitted to having died and seen a crimson moon. The adults embraced the children who passed the ritual, telling them, "Within the fireplace, you have traversed." The book leaves much unsaid. But I suspect that this was their way of...
That explains why I can't sense the Crimson Moon's marrow in this world. It makes...
There's no fireplace here! Do you see a chimney anywhere? Oh, are we supposed to build it ourselves?
That won't be necessary. The fireplace is purely symbolic. The key to the ritual is crossing the flames between two worlds. In other words, the flames that those burned away by such flames leave behind a kind of ghostly afterimage in the world. In the day, in short, I can open a passage to that space for you. The catch is I'll need to stay on this side to keep the passage open, so I won't be able to come with you. Once you're inside, very well. Then I'll open it up.
Traveler, spare me a little more moonlight if you would. I may need it. Thank you. I feel like I've recovered some of my strength now. It should be enough to move us across short distances and confront whatever danger.
Mistress of the seven hues of ages past, great mother of the present, crimson-clad sovereign of the two realms, by fire severed, by fire renewed, I offer myself now and beseech your descent. One word of advice. As you're crossing over, no matter what voices you hear, do not answer.
Got it!
I sense a sinister gloom inside, but also the familiar light of the moon. I feel that I am about to meet an old friend who has changed beyond all recognition.
Is that the abyss? killed the entire place. What now?
What a tragic sight. Fragments of your broken body.
Careful. There's something spooky about this place. Feels like something is lurking in the bump. Paimon's right behind you. What? By the way, Columbina, didn't you tell us that the iridescent moon had shattered into pieces? The moon up there looks pretty whole to Paimon. How is that possible?
Just like I thought. It was only a facade.
Huh? Huh? For real? That's way too high!
No. I'm not sensing anything up there. It's coming from under the mountain.
Let's see... Ah! There's some kind of weird Wait, see that? Looks like a mechanism of some sort. Let's check it out!